Okay. Well, hello everyone. Good morning. It's as I've said, as I've wrote, a sunny and warm morning in Portugal. So, welcome to the launch of the second edition of the Hiring in Portugal ebook, a guide with why and how companies should choose Portugal as a destination to expand their IT capacity, to open tech centers, or to hire tech talent. We're going to have a full program today. I'll start with a small introduction about this initiative, and then Philomen will be also addressing some words regarding the perspective of ICEP Portugal Global about this topic, and we'll move after that for a panel with very, very good speakers to discuss all these topics. I'm going to share my screen. Please use the question button. Okay, not this. Sorry, just sharing my screen. Okay, I hope everyone is seeing my screen right now. So the Hiring in Portugal was an initiative we launched about 2 years ago that was intended to give a perspective to international companies of why Portugal was a good place to expand IT capacity and open new tech centers or just hire tech talent. It was a big success, so it helped motivate several companies to come to Portugal, and we have basically revamped this ebook for a second edition, which is in one way simpler with more objective information, in a way as more quantitative information also regarding the tech recruitment market in Portugal. I want to start to thank our partners. ICEP Portugal Global was key and essential in making all of this happening, and it's the main partner that we have with its mission to expand foreign training in Portugal. Then obviously Startup Portugal, Invest Lisboa, Invest Porto, Pessoas Magazine, and Royal Tax. All of these institutions and organizations have had a role in bringing this to you. So, and the first thing about Portugal and the Portuguese people is that we are very welcoming people. We love to have people from abroad. We are very communicative. We always have this thing about, communicating first in the other person's language and not trying to speak in our own language and make ourselves understood. Then we have a lot of other things that we'll go about also. For the program today, so I've already spoken about me and Philomen following me, and then the panel will be moderated by Mariana Barbosa from Pessoas Magazine, João Borga, the director of Startup Portugal, John Graham Cumming from Cloudflare, I'm sorry, Mark Jacobi, managing director at Volkswagen Digital Solutions, and Diogo Oliveira, the CEO of Landing.Jobs. Well, to start, these are tautologies in today's market. Information technology is obviously one of the key success factors for every company, and having the right talent is a challenging game. What is happening is that local talent is beginning to get scarce, also expensive, and sometimes with a lot of limitations. And Portugal, due to a lot of reasons that we'll briefly pass over, is becoming a top destination for companies looking to extend their IT capacity. So this book is not so much only a how to build tech teams in Portugal, but mostly a why Portugal is such a good option for this. The first one is that a hub, and especially a tech hub, should be centrally located. Even though we are in remote work times, with a strong trend in this topic, it's important that even in remote, people talk to each other, and for that they need to be awake to be able to manage collaboratively. So basically, this window that we have here is more or less -4 +4 hours time zones from Portugal, and as you can see, we cover a lot of world. Apart from that, obviously, Lisbon in Portugal, and Porto, and Coimbra, and a lot of cities in Portugal, we, in some perspective, are a transatlantic hub. So we connect 4 continents: North America, South America, Africa, Europe, and a bit of the Middle East also. So a lot of ground here, a lot of talent available to supply the needs of companies. Then English. I'm a bit biased, of course, but Portugal has a very good English rating in terms of the world. So it's very easy to find someone in Portugal that talks English well. And when we're talking about tech talent, especially the younger generations, English is almost a default in everyone. Well, quality of life is one of the top factors that we have. It's around 2,800 hours of sunshine per year. I think tells it all, right? So when we talk about work-life balance, something that tech talent more and more privileges. Well, we are one of the countries where I can say it's better to live. The low cost of living is also something that is attractive in terms of the overall cost that a talent or a company needs to face to live in Portugal. As you can see, having a tap beer for €1, it's just a good indicator. It's kind of the Big Mac challenge, but in this term, it's the beer challenge. So it's a good price. Another very important thing for a lot of tech talents is safety and stability. Portugal, it's, well, the third most peaceful country in the world, but there is two exceptions. The first two countries in this list are islands, and Portugal is not an island, it's a continental country. Strategic location, I've already talked a bit about this, with connections directly to US, Canada, South America, Africa. So we can get to all European capitals within 4 hours. And more, and this is the sign of the good work and the attractiveness of Portugal, a lot of companies are coming in the last years to Portugal to open IT centers or hire tech talent or open tech centers. So these names are just some of the ones that have chosen Portugal for this, and I think that they are representative of the quality that Portugal has to offer in this case. Then the whole reason for all of this tech talent. So there's lots of tech talent in Portugal, not just people from Portugal, but also people that come to Portugal. If you look for digital nomads, for example, in Google, in the top 10 pages that appears, Portugal ranks consecutively in the top 10, and in a lot of them as #1 destination chosen by digital nomads to go and live. So this tells a lot about also the attractiveness that Portugal has for tech talent, and thus serving the needs of the companies that need that tech talent. In terms of salaries, this is a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously, it's bad for the Portuguese developers, but the good news is that these values are increasing. But for companies, obviously, the cost of a salary for a developer in Portugal or in Germany or the UK, well, we are talking about a huge difference. It's irrelevant to say that these salaries, these are gross annual salaries, okay? So just to make here a distinction, but we have more information on this later on. And after, in the end, well, there are a lot of companies and organizations that are working to make easier for international companies to come to Portugal. These, and obviously the population of Portugal that is always welcoming for people from the outside. Well, going for some quantitatives and trying to go really quick to pass the word to Philomen. So as we have said, around 25,000 euros, it's the regular gross annual salary for a developer in Portugal, okay? These values vary, and in this guide, in the Hiring Portugal ebook, you have all this information in full detail, okay? These are a depiction of the salaries, the average gross annual salaries for different roles. You have all this information in the Hiring in Portugal ebook that you can download. I'm not going to go exhaustively over it, okay, just to give you a notion of what we are talking about. Well, this is the most detailed information you'll get in the guide regarding the average salary for permanent employees. In Hiring in Portugal, we have a difference between permanent employees' gross annual salaries and contractors' annual salaries. Those are measured in different terms, so we understood that it was better to split this information, but you have all this information in the guide, this and much more information that you can go over and to have a better notion of what we're talking about when it comes, well, to financial figures. Concluding this, so how can we Landing.Jobs help? Well, building the book and handling it to you so you can get the most information you can have regarding this, and also obviously in everything regarding recruitment. So we have a huge community, not just in Portugal, because we are an European-based company, but in Portugal, obviously, we have a strong foothold that this was our original country. So we can help you attract the right candidates, make your company known in Portugal so that employer branding works when it comes to attracting and to retaining tech talent, and also giving specialized local knowledge to make you able to hire the right tech pros. Then also in terms of workforce payments, this is especially important for companies that go initially to try to scout a country, like for example Portugal, and don't want to open a company in the destination country. So we can help with that, ensuring all the payments with full legal compliance in Portugal. Also, we can give you access to the network of local partners that provides support like visa, relocation, tax, accounting services. And also, in a very important thing, we help you not only setting up the initial temporary office that you might need. We have our own office is big enough, and we have been hosting several companies that make the first steps, the first 3, 4 people, 5 people in the team before finding the final office. So we give this initial support also to companies to make it easier to come to Portugal and to try the market and to see if what I'm telling you is really true or not. Again, some of the companies that we have helped, so logos mean more than words here. And thank you. If you want to know more about this, please, first step is going to hiring in Portugal. I have to correct this this typo, and obviously talking with us or with any of our partners like ICEP, Startup Portugal, Invest Lisboa, Invest Porto, to understand how you can come easy to Portugal. So now I think I've passed my time. I'm going to handle this over to Philomen. Philomen, please, let's go.
Thank you, Pedro. Good morning, everyone. We are very pleased to be part of this project and to ICEP to be partner of Landing.Jobs for the launch of this guide. Very important for our clients. And for my presentation, I will share a presentation. Just me. Okay, I hope all you can see. So I think all you can see my presentation. So invest in Portugal, or why Portugal for tech operation. And so we will see, and the objective of this brief presentation, Pedro, I've seen you use all my some arguments, but that's Portugal. Why Portugal? So I will repeat some.
Sorry.
So first of all, I will say when a company asks us why to invest in Portugal, why to locate in Portugal, tech operation. First, we recommend to speak with companies that already decided to locate in Portugal, because the companies that are in Portugal, they better than us can say why Portugal is an attractive, competitive, and the best location to develop a tech operation. So we have some, in this page, I have some examples, CIT, BMW, Emergent, and a quote also from the FDI, from the Financial Times publications, and all say the same, is the good university, the talent. First is talent, second is talent, third is talent. Talent because the mindset of the people, open people, the quality in terms of skills, very strong skills, thanks to the good universities that we have in Portugal, and what we call the, already everyone say that, the startup ecosystem, and we will see later how startup ecosystem is very important also to support the development of IT activities in Portugal. So BMW, they built a joint venture with the Critical Software, Portuguese company Critical Software, Critical Tech Works. They open in Porto and then in Lisbon. They have more than 1,000 people, engineering people. So people in IT working for the automotive sectors, and that we will see when we are speaking about IT, it's not for telecommunication, communication, or information activities. It's using IT in different sectors of activity, automotive, lighting solution as Schroeder, Zumtobel, banking as important in Lisbon, BNP Paribas, but Hitachi Consulting also, they work with the bank. Fizai, Portuguese unicorn, also work for bank and insurance activities. So we can see IT spread in different activity sectors and see large company, international companies from different activity sectors to locate in Portugal to develop IT in the main activity sectors. Emergent, also from the British company, in point out engineering excellence and the people and culture. So it's all about people and talent. some recent track record, and sorry for those that I've not mentioned, but it's quite difficult to have whole brands and name. We have just mentioned the most recent. Endphone is a German company that decided to locate in Lisbon last year during the lockdown time. So we worked with Endphone during lockdown, and they decided after virtual visit, and so it was a real example of also of confidence on Portugal and capacity to do that. Springer Nature, so scientific publication, German group, also decided to build their IT hub in Lisbon for software development, business analytics. BG, British company software development, also in Lisbon. Mercedes-AMG last week announced the expansion of their digital delivery hub in Lisbon. I already mentioned BM. Microsoft also expands the Lisbon office with the language algorithm development center. Cloudflare, we will see later with John how and why Cloudflare decided to locate in Lisbon, and Volkswagen also we will have later on also to her why they decided and how this is successful their operation in Lisbon. So, but we have much more references. This one has some of the most recent because they recently decided to locate, or because they recently announced the expansion of the center in Portugal. And it's not only Lisbon, Porto, but we see also other cities such as Coimbra, such as Braga, Viseu. So we can see many companies also decided to locate out of Lisbon and out of Porto. Why, Pedro? As you already mentioned, the strategic location of Portugal. Okay, we are in the western side of Europe, so in terms of time zone, it's very well located, and safe location, political stability, already mentioned. This dimension, the importance of this dimension increased with the COVID pandemic. We have seen several companies to introduce in their decision factor list, the risk perception of the country, of the location that they are evaluating. More, I will say, than the last 2 years. So this dimension of strategic location and safety and low risk, we see a lot of our clients saying that they are looking for a location to de-risk their operation. And Portugal, obviously, is a very good location. Safe, stability at political and social level, and we're located in the western coast. So we serve all the European market, but also the eastern coast of the United States. As I already mentioned, talent. It's all about talent. So we have very good university in Portugal, international recognition. And in terms of students and graduates, 1/3 of this number are in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So they can easily sustain the talent pool for the company that decide to locate there. So we are the third country in Europe with the highest rate of engineering graduates in the total graduates. The first one is Germany, the second one Austria, and then Portugal. So an orientation of our university students and graduates in engineering. Pedro, you already mentioned the quality of English. Important also is the increase of international and foreign students in our university. Roughly 15% of students in Portuguese university are foreign students. This is very important because the key success of a location is not only to provide local talent, but to be attractive for international talent. We need all the talents to support and for the companies to develop their activities. And in terms, already mentioned the quality of our university. So in the Financial Times ranking in Master in Finance, we have 3 universities. And as Springer Nature said, Lisbon has hotspot for the skill and expertise we need. But as we say, Lisbon, Porto, and other Portuguese city. Innovation. It's all about talent. And what do talent do? They do innovation. Portugal is a strong innovator. In the last edition of the European Innovation Scoreboard, Portugal appears as strong innovator, as Germany, as France. And mainly thanks to the ability and to dynamics of these small and medium company networks, startup networks, and how they cooperate also with the university. In international rankings, so we appear as well ranked in innovation overall rank, but more in human and capital research and scientific and technical articles. Portugal, we are on average, you have more international scientific publication published per 1 million employees. Population, sorry, and we are above the EU average. So we rank pretty well there. And obviously our unicorns, we are now 4, Farfetch, OutSystem, TalkDesk, and very recently Fidzai. We are very proud of that. And different area, e-commerce, coding, cloud, and artificial intelligence. So at the scale of Portugal, it's very, very, very important. And Portugal and the startup ecosystem is important. Why? It can be a provider of talent for sure. But more than that, it's a provider of innovation, because startups, they do not have any problem to test, to try, and to fail. And when company decide to develop, and nowadays company needs to innovate very fast, very quickly, it's very important to have a strong startup innovation, startup ecosystems, because they can take advantage of that. They can benefit from this capacity to innovate, and they can take advantage of the development that they already done. So, and we see more and more companies, large, less and medium company, international company, that want to know more, that want to cooperate, to see what kind of startups that we have as a way to access to innovation and to the know-how. Infrastructure. We need to have a very strong and performing infrastructure. And the last year demonstrate how it is important to have a very resilient telecom infrastructure. The increase of data traffic, mobile data traffic, and the usage of the mobile data also, all clients, I would say all international companies, were able to shift from the workspace, office space, to homework. And that was possible because Portugal has a strong telecom infrastructure. And nowadays, companies also, with the questions of de-risk activities, they are looking at the telecom infrastructure, the country where they will locate. And Portugal, we are very well positioned and ranked. So, and we can see also in some international ranking from the European Investment Digitalization Index, ultra fast fixed broadband also, and communication technology in terms of talent. So Portugal ranks pretty well, very well. So to choose Portugal is to have access a top performing infrastructure in telecom, but also for flight connections. Even if currently it's not the best situation, but in normal situation, Lisbon and Porto are well located, connected with the main cities in Europe, but also United States. And it's very important because companies and headquarters can easily come to Portugal, work with the local team, and go back, and the exchange also of people from the headquarters or the office in different locations, and they base in Portugal. Also, because company, when they decided to locate it, it's very important also to rely on some support to reduce the setup of cost, the activity. So we have tax credit, financial support, job creation, also support to reduce the cost for hiring people with low experience and to train them. Research and development. We are very attractive research and development schemes in Portugal, tax credit also, and financial support, and company can benefit and must use it. So and ISAP, we will be very pleased also to help the company to maximize this kind of support. And at the end of the day, it's very important to work, to demonstrate productivity, quality, but at the end of the day, it's important also to enjoy the quality of life. And Portugal, as already know, I'm based in Porto. We have a blue sky. Pedro, you are from Lisbon. You have the blue sky. Lisbon, Porto, we have the sea. We have the pastel de nata. Bloomberg in 2019 said that pastel de nata will be the next croissant. So we can enjoy that. And as a Europe leading destination, people and companies that decide to locate in Portugal, they can enjoy the people, how we are welcome, but also our beach, our countryside, and our gastronomy, and it's very important, and also the quality of our healthcare facilities. So if you have not decided to invest in Portugal, I hope you will decide very soon and to decide to be part of our wonderful country. That's it.
Well, thank you, Philomena. It was a very comprehensive, much more than mine, overview of the why of Portugal and also some hows. So, but this was I will not say the most extensive part, but the at least the most challenging part, I think, because what comes after, the debate, the panel, moderated by Mariana Barbosa from Revista Pessoas with a lot of great speakers, I think it will be even more interesting based on the information that me and Philomena have just passed you. So thank you, Philomena. I'm also stepping back to the backstage. Rita, who is helping us with all the logistics, please put Mariana and the remaining speakers and drop me off. Bye, everyone. Thanks a lot for being until now. Please keep going with us.
There we go. I guess that. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Good morning. Bye, Pedro. Thank you. Hi, John.
Hello. Bom dia.
So, bom dia. We are waiting for our panelists.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes. Only a few minutes. If you, I would like to remind you, if you have questions, just jump in the ask question box and send us your questions, comments, and doubts. If we can answer them, it will be awesome. So, yeah. Mark and João are missing yet.
In the meanwhile, probably we can present ourselves very quickly.
Yes, of course. Who are you, Diogo?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Diogo. For the past 5 years and a half now, I've been in Landing.Jobs, supporting mostly companies growing tech teams, but also opening tech hubs in Portugal. So here today, I'll be representing those companies, and I'll try to pass some visibility on some hows and the whys to invest in Portugal. I'm currently the CEO of Landing.Jobs, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's good. Thank you. John.
Hi, I'm John Graham Cumming. I am Cloudflare's CTO, and I live in Lisbon. I've been living here since August of 2019, so I arrived just in time to have to stay in my apartment for a year, but it's been great being in Portugal. And Cloudflare is a very large public US company with about 2,000 people, and we're growing very rapidly here in Lisbon. In August 2019, when I arrived, we had 11 people. We have almost 80 now.
Right, thank you. João, hi, welcome.
Hi, my name is João Borca. I'm the Executive Director of Startup Portugal. We are a public-private think tank that aims to provide support to the ecosystem to create the best initiatives to grow our amazing companies to become world leaders on their sector, and also to provide support to the international companies who decide to move to Portugal. So that's me, and thank you for the invitation for the panel.
Thank you, João. Hi, Mark.
Yes, hello. This is Mark. I hope you can hear me. I dropped out from the former call.
Yes, we hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm Mark Jacobi. I'm Managing Director from the Volkswagen Digital Solutions. And like it was mentioned before, we're working together with Landing.Jobs now already since some time, since our journey started in Portugal as tech company. And as everybody knows, Volkswagen is already quite some time in Portugal. And the decision was to come with a new technology as well, and continuing the legacy of Volkswagen in Portugal with the new ways.
Cool.
And thank you very much for the invitation from everybody, and thank you for the great work Landing.Jobs, and as well the study from ICEP and Landing.Jobs together.
Thank you. So today we are discussing this issues related to hiring in Portugal from insiders' perspective and from abroad. So I would like to start with you, John, and asking you about this creation of tech teams and centers in foreign countries. So do you think, is this a trend, or is this a regular situation?
Well, I think to a certain extent, this has always happened because there are technologists all over the world. You know, just as we were saying in the introduction, there are great universities in Portugal, so it's no surprise there are companies being formed in Portugal by Portuguese people, and we have the examples of the unicorns that are here. I think the interesting question is, what is the effect of the pandemic going to have on the way in which we think about work? And my guess is that Cloudflare came here and we opened an office in Lisbon because the thinking was to be in one location. I think going forward, there'll actually be a little bit more variety. And so it wouldn't be a surprise if in a year's time, Cloudflare found that it had a couple of people working from home in Porto or Aveiro or Bragança, or, in different locations. So I think there's going to be, these tech hubs are always going to exist because people working in offices actually come up with lots of good ideas together. But also I think it's going to be a little bit more flexible. And actually that's to Portugal's advantage because you have so many lovely locations where people could be living, right? So I think we'll see the two.
Talking about advantages and disadvantages, Mark, what do you think are the main advantages and disadvantages in Portugal as a tech hub?
Well, I think Pedro and Filomena, they already mentioned pretty much everything about days. I mean, when we choose to come in general, I think it's in Europe, the location. Lisbon and Porto, both parts basically are very well connected, not just European-wide, especially Lisbon as well to the rest of the world. It's like we are the last capital of Europe if you go direction to America, and we are the first to come in. We have very good connections to other areas as well. Definitely the flexibility of the people. What I experience, I mean, you can hear it on my English, and if I speak Portuguese, I'm originally German, but since 22 years in Portugal, so I'm one of the persons that was caught by the Portuguese charm. Coming here, the people, the whole country, I think it's very welcoming. It's easy to live, if we say it like this. Also, we as Germans, we complain a lot missing the structure, but on the other side, that as well sometimes helps, because if something needs to get done, it really can be done. It just sometimes takes a little bit too long, especially for the international investors. They like to have more regularity and planning. But definitely what I found here and what we found here in general, it's the people. They have a great education. They are very, very good, very flexible. They like to jump on the problems. Mm-hmm. If you ask me, I mean, the Portuguese like the work desenrascar. The Portuguese don't like the routine. They like when it gets actually different, thinking out of the box. And I think that is in our business nowadays, IT. That is what people and companies looking for in the world. Where do we find people that don't just code? There are countries will never compete with to writing codes in mass, but we're having really good resources and attracting resources that actually think out of the box and come up with great ideas, great solutions that are not standardized. So, and it's just a great country to live in.
Great. João, a few weeks ago, Portugal and other 19 European countries launched the EU Startup Nation Standards. And some of these measures are in order to attract people to these countries and to create businesses and to scale from Europe. So in your opinion, in what way this will be changing the future in Europe and particularly in Portugal?
Thank you. That's a very interesting question, Mariana. I think John already touched a little bit upon the topic. So we will see the future of work changed, and the nature of that proposal throughout all Europe and to the world, startup nations, is that we prepare ourselves for that change, for what's coming, and direct the future of our communities in that sense. Portugal itself wins because the enlargement of the pie benefits the best players. So when we see situations like Mark was referencing, that we are desenrascados, which I love the use of the word by a foreigner, which means that people are creative and people are willing to go above and beyond their obligations. It means that the talent pool, the people who are around, are actually playing at the plain level or superior level to some of the other people that are around in their communities, which means that we will be attracting the best talent to Europe, but we will also be attracting the best talent to Portugal. And that will increase the pool of talent within the country besides the local talent. And we have to refer over here that by doing that, we're sharing with the rest of the world and the people who are willing to come the values of our society, which are stability, which are the values of having equal people around you, which are the values of freedom of communication, all those things, of democracy, all those things that we take for granted as companies and as ecosystem builders are not actually the values of certain parts of the world. So the ecosystem, the Startup Standard Nation is based on those principles that Europe stands for, and which in Portugal we also stand for.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Diogo, what do you think has been the evolution of the way international companies perceive Portugal as a tech hub for the last years? Because it changed a lot, right?
Yeah, it certainly. It has been crazy lately. And I think, as João was saying, but Philomen, I think not only the private institution, but also the public ones have been working massively towards that direction. I think that probably 5 years ago, there were many, of course, IT companies, but built from Portuguese people. And not only we have been seeing international people relocating massively, I mean, highly qualified tech professionals that wanted to start new businesses here, but also we have been seeing companies like Volkswagen, Cloudflare, and these big ones that we've mentioned shaking the entire ecosystem. And because they decided to try or shake the waters, and then somehow they tested it, and they had completely sure that we have all the necessary ingredients to make it happen, right? From the technical side to the quality of life and stuff like that. And then with all these stuff going on in the market, where decentralization of the offices for big companies is a thing, especially due all the pandemic, and also that we want to be a bit more flexible, building hybrid offices and stuff like that, then makes Portugal as a top destination. And if we link all these together, we have been seeing a massive evolution to the ecosystem, from the tech talent to the companies, from the supply to the demand. Of course, these shake the entire thing, right? Not only then, of course, on a foreign investment perspective, this grows, companies trust, then also there are big conferences like the Web Summit and stuff like that. This is all part of a big movement to somehow make us way more competitive as a market and an ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So we have a question here from Moniel, which asks, how are companies in Portugal positioning themselves towards the salary comparison to other countries in Europe? We know we have lower cost of living, but it has been increasing above the offered salary from what I have been seeing. Any comments on this, John, Mark? Do you think this is changing a lot?
Well, I think what I always told my colleagues in Germany is, please don't just come due to money, because come to the talent, the money will change. And we see it now since some 5-6 years, latest since Web Summit, is the companies poured into the Portuguese market. Mm-hmm. I remember we at Volkswagen had like 7 years back, we planned to start an IT center, then it was canceled in Germany and we started later. Now I would consider us a latecomer. We were after the market. And I always raised the flag. I said, guys, the salaries will go up because not just of the remote work that we, like John mentioned, it will be interesting to see what COVID launches into that, but as well, the whole world is getting closer. Yes, we are still far away from obviously United States, from UK, even in Europe we are still distant, but we're getting closer. And we're offering a good package. So will we at some point reach the salaries of other European countries? I think that for that the whole European ecosystem and the whole system needs to change, because cost of living really is cheaper here. That we will get salary increases still, especially in the areas that have a high research for people, where there is a high need. There is a pressure on cost, yes. And we will compete with good packages. That's what we as companies have to find. I mean, I'm really curious the future of work, because what I think we had nice offices with a really nice ambient. And now we're having 50% of our company never been in the company so far. Because we doubled the company basically in the last year during pandemics. And it will be interesting to see when we come back there. There are more people face I've never met by person basically nowadays, coming close to that than I still know from looking at them. And it's a total paradigm change for the companies. I mean, everybody knows VW. It's not really a company that works remote. It's normally, it did cars, now it works as well in software. So we have to adapt, we have to change. But I think one thing stayed, it's about people. You need good people to bring great products, and that's what we are looking for.
John.
Mariana, sorry.
You go ahead.
No, go on, John. Please.
No.
Okay. Just to build on top, definitely salaries are slightly going up, and especially because there is scarcity in the market, right? I just want to add something that we, let's say the global institutions that they want to foster Portugal and as a more competitive hub. I think that we have to have in mind that there are 4 things that we must do to somehow make us a bit more competitive and make sure the salary doesn't go up drastically. And there are essentially 4 levels. The first one is, of course, growing the amount of people that leave university every single year. So increase the amount of graduates to somehow increase the pool. But that amount will be not enough, of course. So there are eventually, I would say, more 3 factors that we have to do. Of course, public institutions, but also private ones. Second one will be about being a bit even more attractive for international talent. So somehow we need to reduce bureaucracy, increase the speed dealing with visas and stuff like that, which I have to say that we have been doing a massive effort on that sense with some recent initiatives. And of course, the fact that we have more international companies opening here also makes us way more attractive to get those people, definitely. The third factor will be also about attracting expats that left the country, super high qualified people that we lost, let's say, for Northern European countries. Yes, exactly.
The latest crisis, right?
Exactly. And I think that right now we are able to compete and we are able to attract them back. And the fourth one, a big important wave, is also through the reskilling and upskilling programs. So tech boot camps and stuff like that will be a thing. Of course, not for every single role out there. But what we have been seeing, especially also in Landing.Jobs, because we have been adopting this measure, is that the top people that, or the top class people that leave these boot camps, they are actually fantastic. And there is a big part in technology that is all about logics, right? It's not only about completely the hard skill of coding, which is important. And of course, I'm an advocate that people should pursue a degree, but somehow these ones that somehow try to learn very fast in a short period of time, but very dedicatedly, then they are able to integrate workforces, and 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 they are able to integrate and increase our talent pool. So companies and public institutions should look to these 4 waves as as 4 different mechanisms to grow our talent pool and make us even more competitive. That's my challenge. Yeah. John, sorry, feel free
it's fine. It's fine.
go on.
I was going to say a couple of things. One is that I totally agree with Mark that it's about people. It's not really about salary. I mean, when Cloudflare decided to come to Portugal, the fact that it was going to be cheaper was a factor, but it was not what the factor was, because we looked at 45 cities all the way from Estonia to Iceland. And there are places that are very, very cheap, right? But what we was looking for was a combination of things. So it's not just that, yes, it is cheaper to hire someone here than in London. Fine, that's absolutely the case. But there's lots of other things. It's a very attractive location for people to move to, in part because of the cost of living, in part because of the weather, in part because of the welcome of the Portuguese people, which is quite genuine. It's not something that's made up and put on a slide somewhere. It's very, very real. So these things make it really attractive to come here. Then there's the time zone, which is super important. There's the local talent coming out of universities. And I would actually point to one other thing, which is very, very important, but I would say to anyone who moves to Portugal, which is to look at the Programa Regressar, looking at the people coming back, because a lot of people got fantastic educations in Portugal, left, and that was obviously a terrible thing for Portugal to lose those people to go to those locations. But if you bring them back, what you're bringing back is Portuguese nationals, but you're bringing back people who've got a fantastic experience, right? Because they've gone to London or Paris or Berlin or maybe the US, and they've essentially gone and got a training somewhere else, and now they can come back to the country. So I would look at those people as well. And what Cloudflare has found is I moved here to build a technical office, so engineering, security, technical support, all those kind of things. We have expanded to every department. So the HR department is recruiting here, a lot of people in finance here. It's becoming one of our key offices in the company because it's not just about tech, it's about everything around tech as well. It's about the rest of the organization. So I think I'm very positive on this, but don't come to Portugal as a low-cost location because all you care about is money. There are other places in Europe where you can go and be a really low-cost location, but what you're not going to find is that people want to move to those locations very much, right? That's really the challenge, right? So Portugal, it's a very big combination of factors that made us decide to be here, not, oh yeah, it's cheap. That's not the thinking. And I agree that salaries inevitably will go up, especially with the cost of real estate, which is the thing, which is kind of the elephant in the room no one's mentioned. Yeah, you can get a beer for €1 and now buy an apartment with a view of the Taj. I mean,
yes. But considering this pandemic situation, that will change in the future, or you think that will maintain itself?
Well, I think the important thing to remember about the pandemic is that at the beginning, so a year ago, people went home and there was that we're all in it together, right? Juntos, we're all in it together kind of thing. Now, what's happened is there was a period, I think, about 2 to 3 months where we all kind of imagined we'd go back to the office. And now we're a year in, we're probably 18 months in before we ever go back to offices in full time. Well, guess what? People have got used to being at home. Now, some people hate it and some people love it, and there's a lot of people in the middle, but everybody has got used to the flexibility of it. And everybody is going to demand that. So whatever employers want is almost irrelevant when your workforce says, wait a minute, you managed to do well for 18 months with us working at home. Now we need to be back in the office. Now, so I think inevitably there is flexibility. And as I say, Portugal has a hell of a lot of places you could go live that are less expensive than Lisbon, have incredible internet connectivity. So don't downplay that. I mean, the fact that there's fiber to the home all over the place is amazing. Made it possible just to survive. I am glad I was here, not in London, trying to be on DSL.
I live there also, John.
There you go. Right? So that is an incredible thing. So I think fundamentally this does change things. Yeah, people will go back to offices because offices are useful. They do have uses, but we're looking at a more flexible future, I think.
Marianne, if I may, I just want to add, so I have these wonderful entrepreneurs in front of me and people from companies. I've prevented myself to intervene and say anything, but I would like, from the helicopter view, we've been seeing things that companies are doing to adapt to this situation of raising salaries. throughout Portugal, which I think it's fair. If people are good quality, they should be paid accordingly. What we've seen through the last years is that companies, startups, particularly where we look to, developing less services and more product. So that a lot of startups productize their own services and build and restructure their companies towards that, and that allows them to create more added value. And by creating more added value, the business models are more sustainable throughout time in terms of economy. What I also have seen is that startups and scale-ups and unicorns are more connected to universities and through programs like Encode 2030 and other programs, and try to tailor-make the skills that they want. And by doing that, by tailor-making the skills that they want for their workforce and developing that throughout the process, they actually reducing the lead time for getting their new workforce trained on specifically what they want, and they get best value out of the teams just hitting the ground running. So those are the two that I identify, that I remember immediately. But I'm certain there are more, and there are more things being done throughout by the entrepreneurs and CEOs of startups to address the rising salaries. But above all, it's creating more value on what they do every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's another question from Paula Fernandes for Mark, but I think John can answer also. Do you face at the moment more difficult to find IT talent in Portugal? Do you agree that the market is saturated? What's your point of view?
Well, I think it's been difficult since the beginning because the market is full, but so far we are able to. I mean, like I said, we doubled the company during pandemic. Mm-hmm. It was first a shock because our teams were like, oh no, we have to do the interview personal. We have to see. There was the normal reluctance. And then it started all working, and it's really, I think, like the IT likes to say, a kudu probably to each IT company, how the guys changed. I mean, everybody had to adapt, and I think it was, in that case, the pandemic had even his positive sides, I would say, in some ways, because we had to change processes. We had to adapt where normally humans are reluctant, because it's not the way I do it. And I don't want to do it. But after 2 months, you had to do it if you wanted to keep on going. It's difficult. I don't think it will become easier. The future of work is obviously a topic that will impact nowadays. The question of each candidate is, do I have to come to an office? How is it working? So I think we're in the market where everybody probably comes out on a hybrid model. Because I agree with John.
Sorry to interrupt. Is this happening already in your recruitment processes?
Yes, the people are asking, and I mean, we are remote since last year, 12th of March. So, and at the moment, we actually have to change office because basically we proved our concept, and Germany just approved that we will grow more than our original business plan had shown. So, Digital Solutions was, and that the market knows, was created to build up to 300 people. And the next couple of weeks, we will come with more news to the market. So we just got okay from one of our main clients in Germany, basically, that we will not stay 100 people in that tech unit, but that we will more than double it in the next years to come. So yes, we will definitely be one on the fighter in the markets to get the good talents. It will become harder. But on the other side, some companies already left Portugal, just I think to the fact, like John mentioned, they just came here, they looked for cheap labor. And it's not that. You can get cheap labor in a lot of places in the world, but here it's really the mixed and the quality you want. And I think, yes, you have to pay fair prices, and fair price can be lower than in the States or UK, yes, but it doesn't need to be India if you go radical. And I don't think a company that comes here that wants to code 1 million lines of code a day, it's the wrong country to be in. So it's difficult. I think all companies have to find now a balance, having a good package. I think it's not all about money. Sometimes it's easy to say, but it's a fact. I think it's about as well feeling comfortable, having a good place to live. I see it like John. We can be attractive now in the future because the prices as well go up to re-attract our talent that left Portugal the last couple of years. Yeah. And the next factor is basically what Diogo said. Yes, we have with the governments to see how can we retrain people to have basically added value people build it for added value, and Portugal is becoming a tech-driven company. The people like tech. I mean, the Portuguese like tech. They all have smartphones. So we have to get even more intensive on that, retraining people, giving them an early education in language that has to stay up, and to give them an early exposure to IT, make it more attractive, make it more sexy, because very often you hear, with the young ones, computers. They play the whole time TikToks and all these films, but they don't like to sit in front of a computer. So there's still a way to go. What we try as well, for instance, like we have the policy equal job, equal work. So when I still hear that women are paid less than their pair, just being a man, that just drives me crazy, because I mean, if you do the same job, and we like it. I mean, we have 25% of our workforce is women. If you ask me, I would like to double it. It's not easy, because as well, the last numbers, Landing.Jobs as well quote another quote that actually in Portugal, it's going again backwards. They are going less women into the tech business and tech education, and we really have to change that, because for all the women out there that are listening, they're doing a great job. I mean, if I look at what they do in the company, they are totally equal in what they produce. So there's no reason to say, just as a woman, why they earn less. But sometimes it's a perception how you sell yourself as well. So the guys, just like the Americans, they're just more confident when they go in a talk, and I hope we can change it. I mean, I'm a father of 2 girls, so I'm an advocate for that. Being selfish, but I think there's a big market actually out there. If you talk about talent, there's a lot of hidden talent, because people are not even exposed to it so far. And
but
I don't know if the pandemic helped.
Mariana, let me just. But Mark and John, we need your help to do that, because women are actually a big way to grow tech talent in Portugal and everywhere. But we need to see the heroes. We need to see the examples of people within teams, and only directors of companies know who are the cool ladies doing code and working around the systems within the. For us from outside to promote them is very, very hard. So I leave you a challenge. Send us those examples that we can promote them, because all the young ladies who are going to universities, they should find those heroes to follow on.
I think this is a teamwork issue, and all the institutions and all the companies here in Portugal can help to find a solution and to work on a solution on this.
I would love to be part of the country who has the highest growth of women in tech positions or in tech universities, because I think it's at university level that you start this transformation. It's not
or earlier. Yes.
Well, so I would say one other thing about hiring for diversity, which is something that Cloudflare has taken very seriously here in Portugal and elsewhere, is sure, you want more women going into the pipeline in university, but that's kind of giving up. Because there are a lot of women, what we have found, who, if you look at their CV or their resume, they don't necessarily fit exactly into the job that you currently think you're hiring for. And the thing is, because there are so many men, it's dead easy to do the cookie cutter thing. Oh yeah, this person matches up exactly. If you open your mind, what you'll realize is that, like, for example, for us hiring a software engineer, you might have, let's say a software engineering manager, you might have a woman who's been an IT manager, which is almost the same thing, but not quite. Well, guess what? If you go and talk to that person, you may well find out they're fantastic at the job. So I would say, sure, encourage lots of women to go to university. Great, fantastic. But you're talking about a years down the line solution. What we've been very successful at is going and looking here and in London as well, where I was in charge of the office too, is look at those backgrounds that are not quite the little cookie cutter thing you can do. And the other thing you can do is you can invert the hiring process. You can say, I will only look at women candidates initially, and then I will open up to the men candidates, because what that does is it just focuses your mind a bit on the fact that there are great women candidates out there. And then you can bring in the men and you can make a decision about which is better, whether it's a man or a woman. But if you just sit in front of the pipeline that's coming towards you, you will inevitably see lots of men.
No, I love your insights, because it's a practitioner's insights, John, and you're right. It's true. It's true.
You know, coming back to the thing, if it's difficult to hire, and John's made a good point here, and I think it's not just about men and women, is that a lot of us tech companies, we just looking too much on fixed profiles, and especially the Portuguese tech guys, they are so well educated in a way to have a broad mind. and they are so quick in picking up new languages, new challenges, and they are open for it. I think much more open than in other countries. They're coming out of university with a much more flexibility. They learn the idea behind programming. They don't just learn the language. They are not coming out and saying, okay, I just will work in C++. No, they are normally open. They say, okay, throw something else on me. In 3 months, I learn Kotlin or whatever, and put somebody to my side, and I can manage it. And after 3 to 6 months, they are up to speed. So we have seen amazing things in the companies, guys teaching themselves over platforms, new languages, because we gave them the challenge. So, and there I'm totally with John. We can't just look for the perfect fit. Sometimes you find actually the perfect fit in people that don't have the perfect resume for the job, because they have a different outside view. They are not looking like.
Yeah. So the other thing about diversity is, when you go for the perfect fit, you're often getting a copy of what you had before, and in fact, you get the opposite of what you wanted, which was someone with a different experience who can help you change. And one of the strengths of diverse teams, whether it's diversity based on gender or in experience or whatever, is you get different people, and they have different ideas, and you actually create a situation which is better. So this idea of this sort of clones of, we want somebody who fits exactly this job description, is that you actually do yourself a disservice by not being more open to different backgrounds, different experience, career gaps. I mean, all these kind of things that just don't really matter when it comes down to it. It's like, is this person going to be good at the job? Not, does their resume have that perfect look to it?
Okay, thank you. We are running out of time. Diogo.
No, okay.
Do you want to say anything else?
Sure. Just a quick note before, because I also agree with John that diversity is way broader than gender, of course. But just a very quick note, because I fully agree with what you just mentioned. I think that it's all about teamwork, and we need to educate people early on in their careers, especially if we are talking about gender. Ladies very early on in the high school and stuff like that. But what João was saying about creating these heroes, these thought leaders in tech might help a lot to inspire those people to pursue these type of careers. But what I've been seeing, and I don't have data and numbers right now in the back of my mind, but I know by perception that at least self-taught and also people that join tech boot camps, we have been seeing way more ladies and girls in this process than comparing to traditional education. So somehow in this more fast-paced environment, we have been seeing a faster adoption with these new strengths. That's what I wanted to say. On my end, of course, and I want to, on my end and on behalf of Landing.Jobs, I would like to thank you, John, Mark, and also João for this insightful discussion. Also to you, Mariana, for the amazing moderation as always. It's not a new. And I hope that the entire audience, I'm sure that we all learned a bit more about hiring in Portugal and these criteria around the ecosystem. Don't forget, you guys, that if you want to know or to get the full book, you have a link right now in the bottom of the screen.
Yes, you can download here the Hiring in Portugal ebook.
Exactly. And I would like to, on a side note, also mention that we'll be doing a conference next week for talent acquisition and employer branding specialists, and it will be pretty much about workforce of the future. It encapsulates topics like diversity, like the evolution of the office, and so many others. So if you guys are also inquisitive, if you want to share with your teams, I think it will be a tremendous learning opportunity at no additional charge whatsoever, especially because of this remote environment. So I invite you all to register, and perhaps I'll leave the link in the chat in a minute. Back to you, Mariana. I don't want to take much time.
Awesome. Thank you, Diogo. Thank you, John, Mark, and João, for all the inputs and all the comments you had here, and for sharing your experiences, of course. And I guess I'll see you in the next time. Thank you so
Hopefully
much.
soon.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Great
much.
work. Thank you.
Thank you.